Let's bring in Joe Thomas, going to be a Hall of Famer, one of the great left tackles in the last 30 years in the league. So I saw a picture this weekend of a golf event that Aaron Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes were at. And so Josh Allen was at it. So Josh Allen and Brady are very tall men. So Brady is standing next to Aaron Rodgers, and Brady towers over him. Aaron's about 6'1.5", and Brady towers over him. Aaron is 3 inches taller than Bryce Young is. It is reported now he is 5'10.5". So Brady is noticeably like half a head taller than Aaron. The picture, it really jumps out. 6'4.5", 6'5". Aaron's about 6'1.5". So a player that is noticeably shorter than Aaron, who doesn't have Aaron's arm, how can I not be concerned with a small, warm weather quarterback in the NFL? You tell me, Joe.
I think you're right to be concerned, because when you're a short quarterback, you have a hard time seeing the middle of the field because your offensive linemen are that much taller than you. And so you either have to be really good like Drew Brees was at being able to drop a ball into a small trash can in the middle of the field, predicting where your receivers are going to be because you can't see them and you're just going off of instinct and you're going off of what you practiced, or you got to be able to get outside of the pocket. And the problem is when you're a slight quarterback, just like Bryce Young is, when you get outside the pocket, eventually you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit again and again and again. And those hits, they add up. And so when you're talking about the most important position in football, and when you're building an offense around a quarterback that is a little bit smaller, yes, he's a good athlete. He's probably going to showcase some of that athleticism within that offense. But if he's not there, then what do you do? Like, you're going to just plan on playing with a quarterback that's not going to be available for 60% of the games a year, half the games. I don't know. I think that's definitely a concern. And if you're taking a flyer on a 3rd or 4th round guy, that's one thing. But when you're going to make him a top 5 pick, you need to have a great degree of certainty that he's going to be available and that he's going to have a high ceiling for what you want to build an offense around.
Yeah. So you're going to be at the Combine this weekend doing some stuff, NFL Network, on the offensive lineman. It's a very good year for tackles. There's 3 or 4 in the first round. The draft is interesting. 30% of the first round, doesn't work. Do you think players are more equipped today or less equipped to come into the NFL and start and play?
I think they're less equipped because the difference between what college teams are running and what NFL teams are running, in my opinion, has never been greater. There's such a chasm of the techniques and the schemes that college teams are running and what players are asked to do at the NFL game that they have a ton of learning that they have to do that I didn't have to do when I was coming out of Wisconsin in 2007. And that's one of the great benefits that I had, and that a lot of guys of my generation was, hey, it's easy to plug and play on the offensive line or a lot of these other positions because what we ran at Wisconsin was a version of what I was running my rookie year when I was with the Browns.
Yeah. So when I got to ask you, we have, as you get ready for the Combine, J-Mac and I have talked about this. There are 3 or 4 things that I look for. Are you going to be cognitively good enough? Will Levis, his mom went to Yale, granddad to Cornell. He's got a big brain. Go to video, he's got a huge arm. So I don't worry. Brain and arm, he's really good. He's also been doubted, like Joe Burrow, Brady, Russell Wilson. He had to transfer out of Penn State to Kentucky. But the thing I really look at, Joe, is that he played in a football conference at a non-football school. And so Will Levis had to overcome constantly. He didn't have Georgia athletes, Bama athletes, Auburn athletes, LSU athletes, Texas A&M athletes. You go back to your NFL career. On the quarterbacks you played with, I contend toughness and resilience is wildly underrated. Otherwise, all these Ohio State guys would go from high school, college to pro and be great. They've never had a great NFL quarterback. I like my college quarterback to be kicked around a little bit, to get sacked, to get pushed around. You played with a lot of quarterbacks. You tell me the value of a guy that didn't play at a traditional power that came in having to overcome.
I think toughness and resiliency is something that gets revealed, and it's not something that necessarily can be trained. And that's why I think it's great to see a guy that has gone through some tough times, that's gone through maybe a difficult path, that has had to show some of those character traits that you're going to value as a quarterback. Because if you're a guy that, let's say, maybe just went to Alabama and had just all sorts of success, you may be a tough guy. You may have that resiliency inside of you, but we just don't know yet because it hasn't been revealed yet. And so I think having those quarterbacks like a Will Levis, who he's got it inside of you, you're never going to have to wonder when he has those challenging moments throughout his rookie season or his second season in the NFL, because they're coming. It doesn't matter what the name says on the back of your jersey, whether it's Manning or Brady or any of the other great quarterbacks of all time in NFL history. They struggle when you're a rookie, especially at that quarterback position. And so how is that guy going to handle those struggles? Is he going to go into a turtle shell and then have no confidence and not be able to get over that and be able to overcome? Or is he going to be like, hey, I've been here before. I know the roadmap out of this, and I'm going to be the guy that says, put the team on my back. Let's go forward. Let's make it happen. And so I think finding out about that guy before you draft him is a huge benefit, and definitely Will Levis, he's a guy that benefits from that.
Finally, quarterbacks get paid more. You can't hit them in practice. I'm not saying teammates resent them, but they are it's the most privileged position in the league. I do wonder about teammates of Aaron Rodgers sitting there thinking, bro, just make a decision. We already can't hit you at practice. You're the highest paid. You get all the endorsements. I get it, right? Like, I get quarterbacks Russell Wilson gets his own office. Do you think it can turn into a situation where even if you kind of like him, that there could be resentment for him holding this organization hostage is too strong, but holding everybody at bay after a while?
I think they could resent it a little bit, but they also know that their best chance to go win a Super Bowl is with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And so as long as the performance is there at the quarterback position, I think as players in that locker room, you're going to let him get away with whatever he wants to, because you got to have him out there, and he's so much different than the next guy that potentially is available. But to your point about the Russell Wilson situation, the resentment starts becoming pretty vocal when you do have those extra abilities to have your own locker and you got your own parking spot. And are you a coach? Are you an owner? Are you a player? Nobody really knows what you are because you're treated differently. And then you go out and you lay an egg and you don't perform. That's when the teammates really start having a problem with it, and you start hearing about it like you didn't see it in Denver this past year. All
right, finally, you were drafted out of Wisconsin, a third pick, a lock to be a great left tackle. You're going to go into the Hall of Fame with this class. And I asked you during the break, I want you to share the story, is that you were seen as sort of a, tackles don't go first, second, or third much. You did, and you're a 10-time Pro Bowler. Jonathan Ogden, there's a handful of guys, and there's not a lot. Trent Williams, you can see it when they play. This is totally different. And now you're going to be at the Combine, and there's going to be 4 or 5 left tackles taken in this first round. When did you go back to your first NFL game? You probably didn't have that gray beard. You're a kid out of Wisconsin. You dominated Purdue and Illinois. And all of a sudden, your first NFL game, your left tackle for the Browns, who were you playing and who was the rush end?
Yeah, week 1, welcome to the NFL moment 2007. The Cleveland Browns are hosting James Harrison and the Pittsburgh Steelers, going on his way to be the defensive player of the year. And that's the guy I got to block. And in hindsight, I feel like I probably did okay, knowing that it was my first game in the NFL. But the way the offensive line coach crawled in my butt after that game about how I played, I didn't feel very confident going into week 2 against Justin Smith of the Cincinnati Bengals, all pro at 2 positions on the defensive line during his career. So there are no easy wins in the NFL, unlike college where you play just a couple good teams, maybe 1 or 2 All-Americans every season at the most. In the NFL, they're all All-Americans.
How about that? Harrison, first game, Steelers. Your left tackle out of Wisconsin. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame at the NFL Network as well. Good guy. And enjoy yourself at the Combine. It'll be a good watch.
Will do. Thanks, Colin.
All right. Yeah. First game, Harrison. Isn't that crazy?
Reminds me of that great line from Die Hard. Welcome to the party, pal. Remember Bruce Willis at the top of Nakatomi Plaza?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.